When I found my daughter scrubbing floors in the $4.3 house I bought her, while her husband's parents barked orders at her like she was hired help, she walked past me without recognizing her own father. I pulled out my phone, dialed my lawyer, and said, "It's time for justice." Before we continue, we ask you to hit the hype button, subscribe, and like the video to help the channel grow. Tell us which city you are from in the comments. We would like to get to know our audience better. The gravel crunched under my tires as I pulled up the circular driveway. The house looked exactly like the photos. White columns, ivy climbing the brick, that expansive porch. $4.5 million. Every penny worth it to see my daughter happy. The front door stood open. Music drifted out. I rang the bell anyway, nobody came, so I stepped inside, calling out, "Melanie, it's Dad." The foyer was different. The chandelier I'd helped her pick out was gone. In its place hung something gaudy, all gold and oversized. The walls were covered in family photos, none of them featuring my daughter. These were strangers, the Harper family, Gavin's parents, his siblings, their kids. My daughter appeared nowhere in this gallery. I heard voices from the kitchen, a woman's laugh, sharp and patronizing. Then another voice, younger, quieter, apologetic. The kitchen was huge, all marble and stainless steel. 3 people stood around the island. Gavin's parents, Eleanor and Richard Harper. The third person was bent over the sink, scrubbing. It took me a moment to realize it was Melanie. My daughter was on her knees, cleaning baseboards with a toothbrush. "You missed a spot near the cabinet," Eleanor said, not even looking at her. "Sorry," Melanie whispered. "I'll get it." "And when you're done, the upstairs bathroom needs attention." Richard chuckled. "Heavy lunch, you understand?" They both laughed. Melanie kept scrubbing. "Melanie," I said. She didn't look up. "Melanie," I said again, louder. Eleanor glanced over. "Harold, we didn't hear you come in." The door was open. "Melanie's just helping out. We all pitch in. It's how families work, Harold." "This is Melanie's house," I said quietly. "Legally, yes," Richard said. "But marriage is about partnership. What's hers is Gavin's. What's Gavin's is ours." Melanie stood up slowly, painfully. Her knees were red and raw. She looked like she hadn't slept in weeks. "I should start on the bathrooms," she said to Eleanor, "not to me." She walked past me. Our shoulders almost touched. I reached out, tried to catch her arm. She jerked away like I'd tried to strike her. "Melanie, I have work to do," she whispered. Then she was gone, hurrying up the stairs. Eleanor was watching me with a small smile. She's adjusting. Marriage is hard. We're teaching her what it means to be part of something bigger. "Where's Gavin?" I asked. "Business meeting. He's very busy. Someone has to provide for this household." Provide, like I hadn't written the check that bought every square inch of this place. "I think I'll go talk to my daughter," I said. "She's busy," Eleanor said. "And frankly, your hovering isn't helping. She needs space. Gavin knows what's best for her." I felt my hands curl into fists, force them to relax. "I need to go," I said. Eleanor's smile widened. "Of course. We'll take good care of Melanie. Don't worry." I walked out, got in my car. My hands were shaking. I pulled out my phone and called David Brennan, my lawyer, my friend. He answered on the second ring. "Harold, everything okay?" "No," I said. "Everything is very far from okay." I told him everything. The house, the Harpers. My daughter on her knees, scrubbing floors. "Prepare everything," I said. "Property records, ownership documents, and I want to know what legal rights that man has to my daughter's property. I'll start tonight. Thank you. Harold, be careful. If they're willing to treat your daughter like this, there's no telling what they might do if they feel threatened." I looked back at the house, at the lights glowing warm in the windows. "Let them try," I said. "They've crossed a line they won't survive." I barely slept that night. I lay awake replaying everything. Every warning sign I'd ignored because I wanted to believe Melanie was happy. We'd known the Harper family for over a decade. Richard had been one of my earliest major clients. Our families ate dinner together. His wife brought food when mine was sick. I'd trusted them. When Gavin started courting Melanie, I was pleased. He seemed stable and ambitious. The wedding was lavish. I paid for most of it. Richard toasted me, calling me a true friend. Now those words felt hollow. I got up early, waiting for David's call. At 6:30, he finally rang. "The house is in Melanie's name," he said. "A pre-wedding trust gift. Gavin has no legal claim unless they get specific court orders. It's unlikely. But possible?" "Possible," he admitted. Then he added, Harold, the Harpers are in serious financial trouble. Heavy debt. Foreclosures. If they could get control of that $4.5 million house, it would solve most of their problems. Cold dread settled in me. They're planning to take it. I think they planned this from the start, David said. Break her down, isolate her, make her dependent, then convince her to sign something. Not if I'm alive. Harold, be careful. Desperate people are dangerous. I thought of Melanie scrubbing floors, flinching at my touch. What do I do? Document everything. Try to speak with her alone. If she's being manipulated, it changes everything. But if you're going to fight these people, you have to be ready to fight hard. I am. He paused. Then we moved strategically. At the office later, Tom noticed something was wrong. After hearing everything, his face darkened. Those scoundrels, he said. We're getting her out. He also told me Richard still owed us $15,000 from an old project. I'd never known. And that's not all, Tom continued. Developers have been avoiding the Harpers for months. They're unreliable, behind on payments, burning bridges everywhere. How bad? I asked. Very bad. One more major setback, and they collapse. A dangerous idea formed. What if we make sure that setback happens? Tom met my eyes. Legally? Legally. Financially. Professionally. They took my daughter. I'm hitting back. He nodded. Then let's make some calls. We spent the afternoon talking to contractors, suppliers, developers, people who trusted us. We didn't lie. We simply told the truth. Richard Harper was drowning in debt and not to be relied on. Most already suspected as much. By evening, I knew the Harpers' reputation was collapsing even faster. It wasn't enough, but it was a start. I drove back to Melanie's house that evening. This time, I didn't call ahead. I just showed up, parked in the driveway, and walked to the front door. Richard answered. He looked surprised to see me, then annoyed. Harold, this isn't a good time. I need to talk to Melanie. She's resting. She had a long day. I'll wait. That's not... I pushed past him. Not aggressively, but firmly enough that he had to step back or get knocked over. I walked into the foyer, looked around. Melanie, I called. It's Dad. Richard grabbed my arm. You can't just barge in here. This is my daughter's house. I can do whatever I want. Actually, a new voice said, you can't. I turned. Gavin stood at the top of the stairs, looking down at me with an expression I'd never seen before. Cold, calculating, predatory. This is private property, he said, and you're trespassing. I'm visiting my daughter. Without permission, without invitation, I could call the authorities right now and have you removed. Try it. I'd love to explain to them why my daughter is scrubbing your parents' floors. Something flickered in his eyes. Anger, maybe, or fear that I knew more than he'd thought. Melanie helps out because she wants to, he said. Because she's a good wife. Because she understands what it means to be part of this family. Where is she? Sleeping, like my father said. She's exhausted from all her hard work today. Then I'll wait until she wakes up. No, Gavin said flatly. You won't. You're leaving. Now. He came down the stairs slowly, deliberately. When he reached the bottom, he positioned himself between me and the rest of the house. This is my home, he said quietly. My wife, my life. You don't get to show up whenever you feel like it and disrupt things. I paid for this house. You gave it to Melanie. And Melanie is married to me, so really you gave it to us. And we're grateful, Harold. We really are. But that doesn't give you the right to interfere. Eleanor appeared from the living room. She'd changed clothes since yesterday, was wearing something elegant and expensive. She looked at me with pity. Harold, dear, she said, this is painful for everyone. I understand you're having trouble letting go. But Melanie isn't your little girl anymore. She's a married woman. She's building a life with our son. You need to accept that. I need to talk to her. And you will, when she's ready. When she wants to. But right now, you're causing stress. You're making things harder for her. I'm making things harder? Yes, Gavin said. You are. Every time you show up here with your concerns and your questions, you put pressure on her. You make her feel guilty for being happy. You make her doubt her choices. She doesn't look happy to me. Because you're seeing what you want to see, Eleanor said softly. A father who can't accept that his daughter has moved on. It's sad, Harold. It really is. I felt something hot building in my chest. Rage. Pure, focused rage. But I controlled it. Because these people wanted me to lose control. They wanted me to make a scene, to give them ammunition to paint me as unstable, as a threat. So I smiled instead. You're right, I said. I should have called first. My apologies. Eleanor looked surprised. Gavin narrowed his eyes, suspicious. I'll come back another time, I continued, when it's more convenient. That would be best, Richard said. I turned toward the door, then stopped, looked back at Gavin. One question, I said. The house is in Melanie's name, correct? Solely hers? For now, Gavin said. For now? Married couples share assets, Harold. It's how it works. Melanie and I are discussing putting my name on the title, making it official, a true partnership. There it was, the confirmation I needed. I see, I said. Well, I'm sure you'll do what's best. I walked out, got in my car, drove away. When I was safely down the road, I pulled over and called David again. They're going to try to get her to add him to the title, I said. Soon. We need to move faster than I thought. How fast? Yesterday. The next morning, I returned to Melanie's house at 7, bringing coffee and pastries from her favorite bakery, something she used to enjoy every Sunday before she got married. Richard opened the door, already in a suit. He eyed the pastries and sighed. We've already eaten, he said. Maybe Melanie would like some later, I offered. Her favorite almond croissant. She doesn't eat that anymore. Too many calories. Eleanor has her on a healthier diet. My jaw tightened. Then let me give them to her myself. 2 minutes. She's not here. Where? Grocery shopping. At 7 a.m. on a Tuesday. I'll wait. She could be gone for hours. Then I'll wait for hours. Richard's patience cracked. Gavin says your behavior is becoming concerning. If you continue harassing... Harassing? I'm trying to see my daughter. She has a new family now, he said. A family that takes priority. Something you might understand if you'd kept your own marriage together. My wife had passed away from cancer. He knew that. He still used it. I stepped forward. Careful, I said. Is that a threat? A warning. Leave the property, he said. It's not your property. It's my son's home, and you're not welcome. Call the police, I said. He did. 10 minutes later, a patrol car arrived. Richard painted me as a harassing ex-in-law who refused to leave. The officers asked if Melanie was in danger. Not provably, I admitted. Then you need to leave, one officer said. If she wants contact, she can reach out. She's being manipulated, I insisted. That's a family matter unless there's immediate danger. I handed the pastries to Richard. Give these to Melanie. Tell her I love her. He said nothing. The patrol car followed me for several blocks before turning away. At the office, Tom was waiting. One of the officers' wives works in accounting, he said. Harold, they're building a harassment case. If they get a restraining order, you'll lose all access to Melanie. He was right, but doing nothing wasn't an option. What do we do? I asked. Be patient. Let David handle the legal work. Keep applying pressure on the Harper business, and wait for an opening. And if no opening comes, then we make one. I tried to work the rest of the day, pretending my world wasn't collapsing. At 4 in the afternoon, my phone rang. Unknown number, I answered. Hello? Dad? My heart stopped. Melanie? I can't talk long. Her voice was barely a whisper, shaky and scared. They don't know I'm calling. Where are you? In the bathroom. They think I'm taking a shower. Dad, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry about everything. You have nothing to be sorry for. I do. I should have listened to you. You tried to warn me. You said Gavin was moving too fast, that I should wait. But I thought I knew better. I thought... Her voice cracked. I thought he loved me. What's happening there, sweetheart? Tell me the truth. They're controlling everything. My phone, my email, my bank accounts. Gavin says it's because I'm bad with money, that I need help managing things. But Dad, I can't even buy groceries without permission. I can't leave the house without telling them where I'm going. They track my car. Track your car? There's an app. Gavin installed it. He says it's for safety, but I know he's watching everywhere I go. Melanie, listen to me. You need to get out of there. I can't. Where would I go? This is my house. I'm not giving it up. Then we'll make them leave. How? Gavin says we're married, so the house is half his. He says he's going to put his name on the title, make it official. Dad, if that happens, it's not going to happen. I won't let it. You can't stop him. He's my husband. And his parents, they're always here, watching, making sure I don't do anything wrong. They say I'm learning to be a good wife, but I feel like I'm disappearing. I closed my eyes, gripping the phone so hard my knuckles went white. Stay strong, I said. I'm going to fix this. I promise you. I have to go. They'll notice I've been in here too long. Call me again when you can. Anytime, I'll always answer. I love you, Dad. I love you too, sweetheart. The call was disconnected. I sat there in my office, staring at nothing, feeling that rage build again. This time, I didn't try to control it. I let it fill me, fuel me. I called David. We're done being patient, I said. I want to know every legal option we have. I want to know how to get them out of that house, and I want to know how to make sure Gavin never has any claim to it. Harold, every option, David, legal and otherwise, because these people have been playing games with my daughter's life, and I'm done playing. There was a pause. Then David said, I'll have something for you by tomorrow. Good, because tomorrow we go on the offensive. I hung up and turned to find Tom standing in my doorway. I heard most of that, he said. You're serious about this? Completely. Then let's make sure we do it right, because we only get one shot. That evening I got another call, this time from a number I recognized, Gavin. I answered. What do you want? We need to talk, he said, face to face. Why? Because this situation is getting out of hand. You're upsetting Melanie. You're causing problems for everyone. I think we can resolve this like adults. Where? The country club. Tomorrow at noon. Just you and me. Neutral ground. I considered it. Every instinct told me it was a trap of some kind, but it was also an opportunity. Fine, I said. I'll be there. Good. And Harold, come alone. This needs to be a private conversation. He hung up before I could respond. I immediately called David, told him about the meeting. Don't go, he said. It's too risky. I have to. If I refuse, it makes me look unreasonable, and maybe I can get something out of him. An admission, something we can use. Then at least let me come with you. Wait outside in case things go wrong. No, he said alone, but I'll record everything on my phone. That's legally questionable. I don't care. I want proof of whatever he's planning. The next morning, I returned to Melanie's house at 7 with coffee and pastries from her favorite bakery. Richard opened the door in a suit, saw the food, and sighed. Harold. Morning. Thought I'd bring breakfast. He didn't let me in. Claimed they'd already eaten, claimed Melanie no longer ate pastries because Eleanor put her on a diet. I asked to see her. She's not here, he said. Errands. Could be hours. I'll wait. He stiffened. Gavin says your behavior is becoming concerning. If you continue to harass us... Harass? I'm trying to see my daughter. Without respecting her marriage. She has a new family now, a family that takes priority over everyone, even you. Then he added quietly and cruelly, something you'd understand if you'd kept your own marriage together. My wife had passed away from cancer. He was aware of that. I stepped toward him. You're standing on thin ice. Is that a threat? A warning. Leave, he said, now. Call the authorities. He did. 10 minutes later, officers arrived. Richard painted me as a harassing ex-in-law. The officers asked if I had evidence Melanie was in danger. Legally, I didn't. They told me to leave. I handed Richard the pastries. Give these to Melanie. Tell her I love her. At the office, Tom was waiting. They're building a case against you, he warned. Harassment, stalking, whatever sticks. If they get a restraining order, you'll lose all access to her. What do I do? Patience. Strategy. Let David handle the legal side. Keep exposing their business problems, and wait for an opening. The next day, I went to meet Gavin at the country club. He greeted me with a smile I didn't return. Let's skip the pleasantries, I said. What do you want? To help you understand what's happening. I understand you're mistreating my daughter. He laughed. Called his behavior guidance, insisted Melanie was simply adjusting to responsibilities, claimed his parents were teaching her humility. I asked why she was scrubbing floors, why she was terrified, why she called me in secret. His mask slipped. She called you? I confirmed it. He relaxed again, calling her confused. Then he said the quiet part out loud. Melanie needed to be molded, guided, taught service, the things I never taught her. I warned him to be careful. He smirked. Or what? Hit me? In public? You'd be arrested, and I'd have grounds to keep you away forever. This is about isolating her, I said. This is about building a future, and you're in the way. I told him the house was legally Melanie's. Not yet, he said. But she'll add me to the title. She loves me. She trusts me. And if she hesitates, I'll convince her, one way or another. A threat, thinly veiled. I'll fight you, I said. You'll lose. You're alone, Harold. And Melanie is mine now. He stood. Enjoy lunch. My treat. When he left, I checked my phone. The recording app had captured everything. I called David. I've got him admitting he plans to coerce her. That's good, David said, but we need more. Then we'll get more. I drove to Melanie's house. 3 cars in the driveway. Eleanor opened the door, furious. You were told to stay away. Richard appeared. Harassment. Leave now or we call the authorities. Call them, I said. Richard stepped closer. This house will be ours. Melanie will sign. You gave your daughter away, Harold, and we're keeping her. Over my body, I said. Richard smiled. If necessary, yes. The door slammed. Tom was waiting at my office. They're not playing by normal rules. No, they're not. Which means we can't either. We're respected in this industry. We have influence. The Harper family's reputation is crumbling. We just need to push it over the edge. Do it. Everything we know about their financial problems, spread it to everyone. Already started, but I'll make more calls. By the end of the week, no one in this city will want to work with the Harpers. Over the next few days, I documented everything. Every phone call from Melanie, brief, terrified, always cut short. Every time I drove past her house and saw lights on in the middle of the night. Every conversation with business associates who mentioned the Harper family's mounting problems. Tom kept his promise. Word spread through the industry like wildfire. The Harper family's commercial real estate business was in trouble. They were unreliable, desperate, not to be trusted. Contractors started refusing their calls. Suppliers demanded payment up front. Potential investors backed away. I felt no guilt about it. They'd brought this on themselves. On Thursday, Mike Donovan called. Harold, I heard something interesting today. Thought you should know. What's that? Richard Harper approached me about a partnership. Said he had a valuable property asset that could secure a major development deal. Residential land, high-end location, worth over $4 million. My veins froze. What property? He didn't give me the address, but based on his description, I'm guessing it's somewhere on the north side. Prime location. He said it was already in the family, just needed some paperwork finalized. Did he say when? Soon. He was pushing hard for a meeting. Seemed desperate. What did you tell him? That I'd think about it. But between you and me, Harold, I wouldn't touch anything the Harpers are involved with right now. Too much risk. Thanks for the heads up, Mike. No problem. Family comes first. You taught me that. I hung up and immediately called David. They're planning to use Melanie's house as collateral for a business deal, I said. Richard is already shopping it around, which means they're close to getting her to sign. Then we're out of time. We need to move now. Move how? I'm filing an emergency petition. We're going to claim the property is under threat and request a protection order to prevent any transfer of title. It's a long shot, but if we can convince a judge, do it, today. Harold, you need to understand. This is going to accelerate everything. Once we file, the Harpers will know we're taking legal action. They'll fight back, hard. Let them fight. I'm done waiting. David filed the petition that afternoon. By evening, the Harper family knew about it. I got a call at 8 p.m. It was Gavin, and he was furious. You filed a legal claim against us? Against your own daughter's property? I filed a protection order to prevent you from stealing it. Stealing? It's Melanie's house. She has every right to do whatever she wants with it. Does she? Or are you pressuring her into making decisions she doesn't want to make? This is insane. You're trying to control her life. I'm trying to save it. From you. You know what, Harold? You just made a huge mistake. You want to bring lawyers into this? Fine. We'll bring lawyers. And when we're done, you won't have any relationship with Melanie at all. We'll make sure of that. Good luck, because I'm not backing down. He hung up. 2 minutes later, Melanie called. Dad? Her voice was shaking. What did you do? I'm protecting you. You filed a legal claim against my house. Gavin's parents are furious. They're saying you're trying to steal my property. Melanie, they're manipulating you. They're planning to take your house and use it for their business deals. I have proof. What proof? Recordings, documents, witnesses. Gavin admitted to me that he's going to make you sign over the property whether you want to or not. There was a long silence. He wouldn't do that, she said finally. But she didn't sound convinced. Yes, he would, and he will, unless you let me help you. I don't know what to believe anymore. Everyone's telling me different things. Everyone wants something from me. I want you to be safe. That's all. You're my daughter. I love you. Nothing else matters. She started crying. Soft, broken sobs that tore my heart apart. I'm so tired, Dad. I just want it to stop. Then come home. Come stay with me. We'll figure everything out together. I can't. This is my home. I'm not giving it up. Then we fight for it. Together. I'm scared. I know. But you're stronger than you think, and you're not alone. We talked for another 10 minutes before she had to go. When she hung up, I felt both hopeful and terrified. Hopeful because she was finally starting to see the truth. Terrified because I knew the Harpers would retaliate. They did. The next morning, I arrived at my office to find 2 men in suits waiting in the lobby. Legal process servers. They handed me a thick envelope of documents. "You've been served," one of them said. I opened the envelope. Inside were court documents. A restraining order request. The Harper family was claiming I was harassing them, threatening them, interfering with their family life. They were asking a judge to prohibit me from contacting Melanie, coming within 500 feet of her house, or discussing them with anyone in the business community. I called David immediately. "I've got it too," he said. "They're trying to shut you down completely." "Can they do this?" "They can try. We've got a hearing next week. Both sides will present their case. The judge will decide." "What are our chances?" "Depends on what evidence they present. If they can show a pattern of harassment, if they can make you look unstable or dangerous, they might win." "I'm not dangerous." "I know that. But perception matters. And Harold, some of the things you've been doing, showing up at the house repeatedly, spreading information about their business, it can be framed as obsessive behavior." "I was protecting my daughter." "I believe you, but we need to prove it, which means we need Melanie to testify." "She won't. She's too scared." "Then we need something else. Something undeniable." I spent the weekend preparing, gathering evidence, organizing documents, practicing what I'd say in court. On Sunday evening, Tom called. "You need to see this," he said. "Turn on your computer, check your email." I did. He'd sent me a video file. "What is this?" "Security footage. From the country club where you met Gavin, my nephew works there. He pulled the tapes for me. Watch it." I opened the video. It showed the outdoor patio, the table where Gavin and I had sat. The angle wasn't great, but you could see both of us clearly. You could see Gavin's expressions, his body language, the moment when his mask slipped and that cold, calculating look appeared. The audio was faint, but it was there. Everything he'd said. About convincing Melanie to sign, about building a case against me, about keeping her. "This is gold," I said. "It's more than gold. It's proof that he's manipulative, that he has plans for the property, that this isn't about love. It's about control." "Can we use this in court?" "David will know, but yeah, I think so. It corroborates your recording. Shows a pattern." I called David immediately, sent him the file. He watched it twice, then called me back. "This changes everything," he said. "With this and your recording, we can demonstrate that Gavin has been planning to acquire the property through manipulation. It won't win the case outright, but it'll give the judge serious doubts about their restraining order request." "What about getting them out of the house?" "That's harder. But if we can show that Melanie is being coerced, that she's not making free choices, we might be able to get an emergency order removing them from the property until the matter is resolved." "Let's do it." "Harold, I need you to understand something. If we go this route, it's going to get ugly. They're going to attack you. Your character, your motives, everything. Are you ready for that?" I thought about Melanie, about her scared voice on the phone, about her scrubbing floors in her own home. "I'm ready," I said. "Let them come." The hearing was scheduled for Tuesday morning. I barely slept Monday night. When I arrived at the courthouse, the Harper family was already there. All of them, Gavin, his parents, even a few siblings I'd met once or twice at the wedding. They stared at me with open hostility. I ignored them. Walked past with my head high, David at my side. Inside the courtroom, we took our seats. The judge arrived, a middle-aged woman with sharp eyes and an expression that gave nothing away. The Harper's lawyer went first. He painted me as an obsessive, controlling father who couldn't accept that his daughter had moved on. He presented evidence of my repeated visits to the house, the phone calls, the conversations I'd had with business associates about the Harper family's financial problems. He made it sound sinister, dangerous. When he finished, the judge turned to David. "Your response?" David stood. "Your Honor, Mr. Harold is not harassing anyone. He's protecting his daughter from a family that's systematically isolating and manipulating her. We have evidence that the defendant, Gavin Harper, has been planning to coerce Ms. Melanie into signing over property that was gifted to her by her father. We have recordings, video footage, witness statements." He presented everything. The recording from the country club, the security footage, Mike Donovan's testimony about Richard shopping around the property. The Harper's lawyer objected repeatedly, but David pushed through. When he finished, the courtroom was silent. The judge studied the evidence for a long moment. "I'm going to take this under advisement," she said finally. "I'll issue a ruling within 48 hours. In the meantime, both parties are to maintain the status quo. No contact, no property transfers, no further escalation. Am I clear?" "Yes, Your Honor," David said. The Harpers' lawyer nodded reluctantly. We filed out of the courtroom. I felt exhausted, drained, but also hopeful. "We did good," David said. "I think she's going to see through their request." "What about getting them out of the house?" "That'll be a separate motion, but this is a good start." As we walked to the parking lot, Gavin suddenly stepped in front of me. "This isn't over," he said quietly. "You think you've won something here? You've won nothing. Melanie is still my wife. The house is still in play, and when this is done, you'll have nothing." "We'll see," I said. "No, you'll see, because I'm going to take everything from you, Harold, just like you're trying to take everything from me." He walked away before I could respond. I stood there watching him go, and I realized something. This wasn't just about the house anymore. This was about pride, power, control, and one of us was going to lose everything. The judge's ruling came 48 hours later, exactly as promised. David called me at home, his voice tight with controlled excitement. "We won," he said. "She denied their restraining order request, said the evidence suggests legitimate parental concern, not harassment. She also issued a temporary protection order on the property. No title transfers, no refinancing, nothing without court approval." I felt something loosen in my chest. Not relief, exactly. More like the first breath after being underwater too long. "What about contact with Melanie?" "You're allowed supervised visits. We can petition for more, but this is a start." "Supervised by who?" "Neutral third party. Social worker. Someone the court approves. Harold, this is huge. It means the judge sees there's a problem." "But they're still living there, in her house." "For now. But we can file an emergency eviction motion. With the protection order in place and the evidence we have, we might actually get it." "Then do it. Today." "Already drafted. I just need your signature." I drove to David's office, signed the papers. He filed them immediately. "Now we wait," he said. "How long?" "Couple days, maybe a week. Emergency motions get priority." A week. 7 more days of Melanie trapped in that house with people who saw her as property. 7 days too long. I drove to my office, but I couldn't focus on work. Couldn't think about contracts or installations or any of the normal things that used to fill my days. All I could think about was my daughter. My phone rang, unknown number. "Hello?" "Dad." Melanie's voice, barely a whisper. "Sweetheart, where are you?" "In my car, parked at a grocery store. They think I'm shopping, but I just needed to get out, to breathe." "Are you okay?" "No. Everything's falling apart. Gavin's furious about the court ruling. His parents are packing things. They're talking about strategies, about fighting back. They keep saying I need to fix this, that I need to make you stop. Don't listen to them. But they're right, aren't they? This is all my fault. I'm the one who married him. I'm the one who let them move in. I should have seen what they were doing. Melanie, listen to me. None of this is your fault. They manipulated you. They isolated you. They're professionals at this." "I feel so stupid." "You're not stupid. You're kind. You trusted people. That's not a flaw." She was crying now. I could hear the tears in her voice. "I don't know what to do." "You don't have to do anything. I'm handling it. Just stay safe. Keep your head down. It'll be over soon." "Promise?" "I promise." We talked for a few more minutes before she had to go back. When she hung up, I sat in my car and stared at nothing, feeling that familiar rage building again. These people had broken my daughter, turned her into someone scared and doubtful and small. They were going to pay for that. Tom found me an hour later, still sitting in the parking lot. "You okay?" he asked, sliding into the passenger seat. "No." "Fair enough. You want to hear something that might make you feel better?" "Depends." I just got off the phone with 3 different contractors. All of them pulled their bids from Harper projects this week. Richard's commercial development deal, the big one he was counting on, fell through this morning. The investors backed out. Why? Because word got around. About the financial problems. About the lawsuits. About the way they treat family. Nobody wants to be associated with that kind of mess. How bad is it for them? Bad. Like maybe filing for bankruptcy soon bad. They're hemorrhaging money. Creditors are circling. And without that development deal, they've got no way to recover. I should have felt satisfied. Vindicated. This was exactly what I'd wanted. To hurt them where it mattered. But all I felt was tired. Good, I said anyway. Let them suffer. Tom studied me for a moment. You sure you're okay? I will be, when Melanie's free. She will be. Soon. The emergency eviction motion hearing was scheduled for Friday morning. David called me Thursday night to prepare. They're going to fight hard, he said. They've hired a new lawyer, aggressive guy. He's going to argue that evicting them would cause irreparable harm, that they have nowhere else to go, that Melanie wants them there. Does she? I don't know. But they might bring her to testify. My stomach dropped. Can they do that? It's her house. She's the property owner. Yeah, they can call her as a witness. What do I do if she testifies for them? Hope that she doesn't, or hope that she tells the truth. Friday morning came too fast and too slow at the same time. I arrived at the courthouse early, found David already there. Ready? He asked. As I'll ever be. The Harper family arrived 20 minutes later, all of them again, a show of force. But this time, Melanie was with them. She looked terrible, pale, exhausted, her eyes red like she'd been crying for days. She wouldn't look at me. Gavin had his hand on her lower back, guiding her, possessive, controlling. I wanted to rip his arm off. The bailiff called us into the courtroom. Same judge as before. She studied all of us with that same unreadable expression. David presented our case first. He argued that Melanie was being coerced, that the Harper family was occupying the property without legal right, that their presence was causing emotional and psychological harm to the actual owner. He presented more evidence. Financial records showing the Harper's business was failing, testimony from Mike Donovan about Richard trying to use the property as collateral, even a statement from a neighbor who'd seen Melanie sitting in her car in the driveway at night, crying. It was damning, clear, undeniable. Then the Harper's lawyer stood up. He was good, smooth. He argued that Gavin was Melanie's husband, that married couples lived together, that there was no legal basis for eviction. He said the Harper parents were invited guests, helping their son and daughter-in-law adjust to married life. He made it sound reasonable, normal. Then he called Melanie to the stand. My heart stopped as she walked to the witness box. She looked so small up there, so fragile. The Harper's lawyer approached her gently. Ms. Melanie, he said, this is your house, correct? Yes. Her voice was barely audible. And your husband Gavin lives with you? Yes. Because you want him there? A pause, a glance toward Gavin. Yes. And his parents, are they there against your will? Another pause, longer this time. No, she said finally. They're helping us. Helping how? With the house, with everything. They're family. So you're comfortable with the current living arrangement? She looked at Gavin again. He gave her a small smile, encouraging, but I saw the threat underneath it. Yes, Melanie said. The lawyer smiled. No further questions. David stood. Your Honor, I'd like to cross-examine. The judge nodded. David approached Melanie slowly, carefully. Ms. Melanie, you said you're comfortable with the current arrangement, but you've been calling your father in secret, haven't you? She flinched. I don't. You called him last week from a grocery store parking lot. You told him you felt trapped, that you couldn't make decisions without permission. Is that correct? The Harper's lawyer shot to his feet. Objection, leading the witness. Sustained, the judge said. Rephrase, counselor. David nodded. Ms. Melanie, have you called your father recently? Yes. How many times? I don't know. A few. And during those calls, did you express concern about your living situation? Melanie looked at her hands. Maybe. I was confused. Confused about what? About everything. About what I wanted. Or were you afraid? Afraid to speak freely in your own home? Objection. Sustained. David tried again. Ms. Melanie, when was the last time you made a decision about your house without consulting your husband? She opened her mouth, closed it, thought. I don't remember, she said finally. You don't remember? Is that because you haven't made any decisions, or because you're not allowed to? Objection. Counsel is badgering the witness. Sustained. Mr. Brennan, tread carefully. David took a breath, changed tactics. Ms. Melanie, do you want your father to visit you? She looked up, met my eyes for the first time. I tried to tell her everything in that look, that I loved her, that I was fighting for her, that it was going to be okay. Yes, she whispered. I want to see my dad. But you haven't been able to, have you? Because your husband's family won't allow it? They say it's complicated, that he's causing problems. Is he? Or is he trying to help you? Tears started rolling down her cheeks. I don't know anymore. I don't know anything. One last question. If you could choose, If it was entirely your choice, with no pressure from anyone, would you want your husband's parents living in your house? The courtroom went silent. Melanie looked at Gavin, at his parents, at the lawyer. Then she looked at me. No, she said. I wouldn't. The Harpers' lawyer jumped up. Your Honor, the witness is clearly under duress. Sit down, counselor, the judge said sharply. I'll determine who's under duress. She turned to Melanie. Ms. Melanie, I want you to answer honestly. Are you afraid of your husband or his family? Melanie was shaking now. I don't know. That's not an answer. I don't know, she repeated louder. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. I don't know what's right. I just want everyone to stop fighting. The judge studied her for a long moment. Then she said, Step down. I've heard enough. Melanie practically ran back to her seat. Gavin tried to put his arm around her, but she pulled away. The judge looked at both lawyers. I'm issuing my ruling now. Based on the evidence presented and the testimony I've heard, I find sufficient cause for concern regarding the living arrangements at the property in question. The Harpers' lawyer started to object. The judge held up her hand. I'm issuing an emergency order requiring Mr. Richard Harper and Ms. Eleanor Harper to vacate the premises within 72 hours. They may take their personal belongings, but nothing else. Mr. Gavin Harper may remain as he is the spouse, but I'm also ordering a full investigation into the claims of coercion and manipulation. If that investigation finds evidence of controlling or abusive behavior, further orders may follow. She banged her gavel. We're adjourned. The courtroom exploded into chaos. Richard stood up, shouting about injustice. Eleanor was crying. Their lawyer was frantically taking notes. And Gavin was staring at me with pure hatred in his eyes. I didn't care. I'd won the first real battle, and I wasn't done yet. 72 hours. That's how long Richard and Eleanor had to pack their belongings and leave my daughter's house. I counted every single one of those hours, watching the clock like it held the answer to everything wrong in my life. David called me Saturday afternoon, his voice tense. They're filing an appeal, claiming the eviction order is unjust, that they were given insufficient time to find alternative housing. Can they do that? They can try, but emergency orders are hard to overturn. The judge was clear. Unless they can prove immediate hardship, the order stands. What about Melanie? Still in the house, with Gavin. I tried calling her, but she didn't answer. I'd tried calling too, 5 times. Every call went to voicemail. Sunday morning, I drove past the house. The Mercedes was still in the driveway. A moving truck was parked on the street. I saw Richard carrying boxes, his face red with exertion and fury. I didn't stop, didn't want to give them ammunition to claim I was interfering. But I made sure they saw me drive by, made sure they knew I was watching. By Monday evening, exactly 72 hours after the judge's order, my phone rang. It was David. They're out, he said. Both parents. I sent an assistant to verify. The house is clear except for Gavin and Melanie. That's it? That's it. They're gone. I should have felt triumphant. This was what I wanted. My daughter's home, free from the people who'd been controlling it. But something felt unfinished. Wrong. What about Gavin? Still there. Legally, we can't remove him without stronger evidence of abuse or coercion. He's her husband. That gives him certain rights. Rights to torment her? Rights to be in his marital home, yes. I know it's not what you want to hear, but that's the reality. I hung up feeling hollow. Tom found me at the office Tuesday morning, staring at paperwork I wasn't reading. You look like hell, he said. Feel worse. You got them out. That's huge. But Gavin's still there. Yeah, but without his parents breathing down Melanie's neck every second, maybe she'll start thinking clearly again. Maybe she'll see what he really is. Or maybe he'll just tighten his grip now that he's alone with her. Tom didn't have an answer for that. The next few days were quiet. Too quiet. I tried calling Melanie repeatedly. She never answered. I drove past the house twice a day, morning and evening. Sometimes I saw her car. Sometimes I didn't. I was losing my mind. Thursday afternoon, I was in a meeting with a potential client when my phone rang. Melanie's number. I excused myself immediately, stepped into the hallway, answered. Dad? Sweetheart, are you okay? Can you come over, please? Right now? My heart jumped. What's wrong? Just come, please. Is Gavin there? He's at work. He won't be back until 6. Please, Dad, I need you. I didn't ask more questions. Just grabbed my keys and ran. I made it to the house in 15 minutes. The front door was unlocked. I pushed it open, called out. Melanie? Upstairs. I took the stairs 2 at a time, found her in the master bedroom, the room that should have been hers all along. She was sitting on the bed, surrounded by papers. Documents, financial statements, legal forms. What is all this? I asked. I found them in Gavin's desk. He keeps it locked, but I found the key. I sat down next to her, started looking through the papers. Loan applications, using the house as collateral, property appraisals, legal documents outlining how to transfer title from one spouse to another without explicit consent, and at the bottom of the pile, a document with Melanie's signature, or what looked like her signature. Did you sign this? I asked, holding it up. She shook her head. I've never seen it before. It's a quitclaim deed. It transfers partial ownership of the house to Gavin, but I didn't sign it. I looked closer. The signature was good. Too good. A forgery, probably, but proving that in court would be complicated. He forged your name, I said. He's been planning this the whole time. I know. Her voice was small, defeated. I found other things, too. Emails between him and his parents, talking about the house, about me. They called me an asset, like I'm not even a person, just something they own. She started crying. Not the quiet, controlled tears she'd shed before. These were deep, broken sobs that shook her entire body. I put my arms around her, held her while she fell apart. I'm so stupid, she kept saying. So stupid. No, you're not. They're predators. You couldn't have known. I should have listened to you. You tried to warn me. And I should have fought harder from the beginning. We sat there for a long time. Eventually her crying slowed, stopped. She pulled away, wiped her face. What do I do now? She asked. You fight back. We take these documents to David. We prove what Gavin's been planning, and we get him out of this house. He'll never leave voluntarily. Then we make him. She looked at me, really looked at me for the first time in months. I'm scared, Dad. I know, but you're not alone anymore. We gathered all the documents, put them in a bag. I was about to leave when we heard the front door open downstairs. Melanie's face went white. He's home early. Stay here, I said. I'll talk to him. Dad, stay here. I went downstairs, found Gavin in the foyer. He was loosening his tie, looking relaxed. When he saw me, he froze. What are you doing here? Visiting my daughter. Get out, now. Or what? You'll call the authorities? Tell them I'm trespassing? Melanie invited me. This is her house. He moved toward me. I don't care what she invited. You need to leave. Actually, I think you need to leave. He laughed. Really? Based on what? Based on the forged documents we found in your desk, the ones where you faked Melanie's signature to steal her property. His expression changed. The mask dropped completely. What was underneath was cold and vicious. You went through my desk? Melanie went through your desk because it's her house, her furniture, her life. That's private property. Nothing in this house is your private property. You're a guest here, and your invitation just got revoked. He stepped closer, got in my face. Listen very carefully, old man. I'm not going anywhere. This house is mine. Melanie is mine, and you're going to walk out of here right now, or I'm going to make you regret ever crossing me. Is that a threat? It's a promise. I heard footsteps behind me, Melanie coming down the stairs. She was holding her phone. I recorded that, she said quietly. Everything you just said. Gavin spun to look at her. You did what? I recorded you, threatening my father, claiming my house is yours, calling me your property. Delete that. No. Melanie, I'm not kidding. Delete that right now. No. He moved toward her. I stepped between them. You need to leave, I said. Now, before this gets worse. Worse? You want worse? Fine. He shoved me, hard. I stumbled back but didn't fall. Gavin, Melanie screamed. Stop. He shoved me again. This time I was ready. I didn't move. That's enough, I said quietly. You put your hands on me again, and I'm calling the authorities. They'll arrest you for assault, and then we'll show them all those forged documents. And then you'll lose everything. He was breathing hard, fists clenched. For a moment, I thought he was going to throw a strike. Instead, he turned to Melanie. You're making a mistake, he said. A huge mistake. You think you can just kick me out? I'm your husband. This is my home, too. No, Melanie said. Her voice was stronger now, steadier. It's not. It never was. And I want you to leave? Fine, I'll leave. But I'm taking my things, all of them. Your things, nothing else. He stormed upstairs. We heard him moving around, throwing things. 15 minutes later, he came back down with 2 suitcases and a look of pure hatred. This isn't over, he said. Not by a long shot. I'll fight you in court. I'll take half of everything. I'll make sure you regret this. Try, I said. See how far you get. He slammed the door on his way out so hard the frame cracked. Melanie and I stood there in silence, listening to his car start and peel out of the driveway. Is it really over? She asked. Not yet, but we're close. She leaned against me, exhausted. Thank you, Dad. Always. We called David immediately, sent him copies of the forged documents and the recording of Gavin's threats. He called back an hour later. This is huge, he said. We can use this to file for divorce on grounds of fraud and coercion. We can get a restraining order. We can probably even pursue criminal charges for forgery. Do all of it, I said. Are you sure? Criminal charges will make this a lot messier. I'm sure. He doesn't get to walk away from this unpunished. Okay, I'll start the paperwork. Melanie spent the night at the house. I stayed with her. We ordered pizza, watched old movies, talked about nothing important. It felt like the first normal evening we'd had in over a year. The next morning, David filed the divorce petition along with a restraining order request. Gavin was served at his parents' house, where he'd apparently been staying since the eviction. He responded with his own legal filing, a counter-petition for divorce where he claimed the house was a marital asset and demanded half its value. Can he do that? I asked David. He can try, but with the evidence we have, the forgery, the coercion, the threats, no judge is going to give him anything. This is just desperation. The hearing was scheduled for 2 weeks out. In the meantime, the restraining order was granted. Gavin couldn't come within 500 feet of Melanie or the house. I thought that would be the end of it, that he'd accept defeat and slink away. I was wrong. The vandalism started 3 days after the restraining order was issued. Someone spray-painted obscenities on Melanie's garage door in the middle of the night. The security cameras caught a figure in dark clothes and a mask, but the footage was too grainy to identify them definitively. We knew who it was anyway. He's trying to intimidate you, David said when I showed him the video. Don't let it work. I'm not intimidated. I'm furious. Good. Channel that into the divorce proceedings. We've got more ammunition now. Violation of a restraining order, property damage, continued harassment. The authorities took a report, but said without a clear identification, they couldn't make an arrest. They increased patrols in the neighborhood. It didn't help. 2 nights later, someone slashed Melanie's tires, then broke a window, then left threatening notes in the mailbox, printed messages about how she'd regret her choices, how she'd ruined a family, how karma would find her. Melanie was terrified. She stopped sleeping, started jumping at every sound. Maybe I should just give him money, she said one evening. We were sitting in her living room, all the curtains drawn. Maybe if I offer him a settlement, he'll leave me alone. Absolutely not. You give him $1 and he'll know he can extort you. This ends one way, with him getting nothing and facing consequences. But what if it never ends? What if he just keeps doing this forever? He won't. People like Gavin are cowards. They're only brave when they think they have power. Once they realize they've lost, they crumble. I installed better security cameras, motion sensor lights, a new alarm system, made sure Melanie was never alone at the house. And then I made some calls. I'd spent 30 years in the commercial construction business. I knew contractors, security firms, investigators, people who knew how to find information, people who knew how to make problems go away, legally, of course. One of them was a private investigator named Claire Martinez. I'd worked with her before on background checks for major contracts. She was thorough, discreet, and had a reputation for getting results. I need you to find out everything about Gavin Harper, I told her. Where he goes, who he talks to, what he's planning, everything. Looking for anything specific? Proof that he's behind the vandalism would be nice, but I'll take anything that can help us in court. I'll see what I can do. She called me back 3 days later. Your son-in-law is a piece of work, she said. He's been staying with his parents, but he's also been spending a lot of time at a bar downtown, getting intoxicated, talking big about how he's going to teach his wife a lesson. He's also been contacting his lawyer multiple times a day. They're planning something. What kind of something? Not sure yet, but they've filed for emergency motions. Multiple ones. I'm guessing they're trying to overwhelm the court, create chaos, make it harder for you to keep track of everything. Can they do that? Technically, yes, but most judges don't like games. It could backfire. What else? His parents' business is in freefall. They're facing foreclosure on 2 properties. Credit lines are maxed out. They're desperate for cash, which makes them dangerous. How dangerous? Depends. People with nothing to lose do stupid things. She sent me her full report that evening. Pages of documentation, photos of Gavin leaving the bar, clearly under the influence, transcripts of conversations she'd managed to record, financial records showing the Harper family's deteriorating situation. It was damning, but it still wasn't proof he was behind the vandalism. That proof came the following week, in the most unexpected way. I got a call from an unknown number. When I answered, a man's voice said, "Is this Harold?" "Who's this?" "My name's Eric. I'm Gavin's cousin. We need to talk." "About what?" "About what he's planning. Can we meet? Somewhere private?" I was suspicious, but I agreed. We met at a coffee shop across town. Eric was in his mid-30s, looked nervous, kept glancing around like he expected someone to jump out at him. "Why are you talking to me?" I asked. "Because what Gavin's doing is wrong. I've known him my whole life. He's always been difficult. But this is too much. What's he doing? He's planning something for the divorce hearing, something to make Melanie look bad. He's got people who are going to testify that she was an unfit wife, that she neglected him, that she was unstable. They're going to lie. All of them." "How do you know?" "Because I was at a family dinner where they planned it. Uncle Richard, Aunt Eleanor, Gavin, his lawyer. They were going through the whole strategy, coaching people on what to say. Why would they do that? Money. They need that house. Uncle Richard's business is done. He's got debts he can't pay. He's been telling everyone the house is their last chance to salvage everything. They're desperate. And you're telling me this because—" Eric looked down at his coffee cup. "Because I have kids, and I don't want them growing up thinking this is how family works, that you manipulate and lie and hurt people to get what you want. Gavin's wrong. They're all wrong, and someone needs to stop them." I studied him for a long moment, looking for signs of deception, a trap, but all I saw was a man with a guilty conscience trying to do the right thing. "Will you testify?" I asked. "In court? Tell a judge what you just told me?" He hesitated. "If I do that, they'll disown me, my whole family. I'll be cut off from everyone." "But you'll be able to look at yourself in the mirror." He was quiet for a long time. Then he nodded. "Yeah, I'll testify." I called David immediately, told him about Eric. He was skeptical at first, but after meeting with Eric himself, he agreed the testimony could be crucial. If he's telling the truth about the coach testimony, we can destroy their credibility in court, make it clear they're willing to lie to get what they want. When's the hearing? 3 days. Think he'll hold up under pressure? He'd better. The night before the hearing, someone tried to break into Melanie's house. The alarm went off, lights flooded the property, and whoever it was ran. The authorities came, took a report, found footprints in the garden, but nothing else useful. Melanie was done. "I can't do this anymore," she said, crying in my arms. "I just want my life back." "Tomorrow," I promised. "Tomorrow this ends." The courtroom was packed for the final divorce hearing. Gavin and his entire family on one side, Melanie and I on the other. The judge, same one who'd issued the eviction order, looked tired and irritated. "Let's make this quick," she said. "I've read all the filings. Both sides are requesting a final disposition. Mr. Harper, you're claiming the property is a marital asset and demanding equitable distribution. Ms. Melanie, you're claiming the property was a pre-marital gift and should remain solely yours. Is that correct?" Both lawyers confirmed. "Then let's hear testimony." The Harper's lawyer called his witnesses first. Gavin's brother, 2 friends, a former colleague. One by one, they got on the stand and told stories about how Melanie had been difficult, demanding, unwilling to compromise. It was all lies. Anyone could see that. David cross-examined each one, poking holes in their stories, showing inconsistencies, making it clear they were reading from a script. Then David called Eric. The Harper family's reaction was immediate. Richard stood up, started shouting. "Your Honor, this is inappropriate. That man has no business—" "Sit down, Mr. Harper," the judge said coldly, "or I'll have you removed." Eric took the stand. He was shaking, but his voice was steady. "I'm Gavin's cousin," he said, "and I'm here to tell you that everything those witnesses just said was a lie. I was at a dinner where Uncle Richard and Gavin planned their testimony. They coached people on what to say. They made up stories. They're willing to do anything to get that house." The Harper's lawyer objected. The judge overruled him. Eric continued. He described the dinner, the strategy session, the desperation in Richard's voice when he talked about how much they needed the money. By the time he finished, the Harper family looked like they wanted to disappear. David then presented the forged quitclaim deed, the recordings of Gavin's threats, the evidence of vandalism and harassment. It was overwhelming, undeniable. The judge didn't even need to deliberate. "Based on the evidence presented," she said, I'm ruling in favor of Ms. Melanie. The property remains solely hers. Mr. Harper has no claim to it. Furthermore, I'm referring this case to the district attorney's office for investigation into potential forgery and fraud, and I'm issuing a permanent restraining order. Mr. Harper is prohibited from any contact with Ms. Melanie for a minimum of 5 years. She banged her gavel. This case is closed. The Harper family erupted, shouting, crying, cursing. Security had to escort them out. Gavin was taken away in restraints after lunging at Melanie. Deputies held him back before he could reach her. As they dragged him out, he screamed, "You'll pay for this! All of you! I'll make you pay!" But the words meant nothing now. The judge turned to me. "Mr. Harold, take your daughter home." I put my arm around Melanie. She cried, this time with relief, not fear. We walked out of the courtroom together, into sunlight, into freedom.